What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Slackerz, bringing you guys our next matchup in the Everyone Is Here tournament. So, if you're new, I will throw the rules up on screen on how this whole thing breaks down. I'll throw them up in just a few seconds, but the gist of what this is, it's a tournament of 100 characters, and then each day on the channel I upload one matchup from the tournaments, and then we pretty much vote between one of the two characters. You can vote for both, but that's part of the rules that you'll see in a second, but yeah. It's just kind of like alright, hey, if it came down to, a decision between this character and this character, who would you personally rather see? That's how this whole thing is. That's what this tournament is. We go till there's a winner and everything. So, yeah, let me throw up the rules so you guys understand, or if you need a refresher. Alright, so the first rule, and maybe one of the most important ones, is remember, this is just for fun. Don't take it extremely serious. Look, and the reason I always say that is because we do have characters in here that are assist trophies, that are spirits, that are me costumes, that are, a character that might be quote unquote disconfirmed. Look, I get there's people that have stances on this sort of stuff, and they look at it in one way and go, nope, that can't happen. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's completely fine, but I don't want to let that, deter you from voting for whoever you want. So this is just for fun. If you like a character, for example, Waluigi's my number one character I want to see, has been since, Brawl, I would vote for Wally because I want to see him as a playable character. I don't care that he's an assist trophy. I don't care that he's a spirit. None of that matters to me. I just want to see him, so I'd vote for him. So if that's how you feel about a character, feel free to drop a vote for him. But the rest of the rules, how do you... Voting, that's probably a big important one. How do you vote? Very simple. You vote down in the comments, but you only get one vote per person. And the way to vote, like I just said, you type your answer, who your vote is for. So today's matchup is Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins taking on Ninten, and you vote for one of them in the comments. You can vote for both by simply typing both. Otherwise, yeah, just vote for one of them. But the rest of the rules are this tournament is a double elimination style bracket, which means a character will have to lose twice before being officially eliminated. Once we get to the results for any of the matchups, if there is a tie, I'll flip a coin on camera. Just the fairest way to break a tie. And each matchup, voting-wise, will only last for just 1 week. So, pretty simple there. That's all the rules. So let's jump into the results and the new matchup for the day, shall we? All right, so the matchup. No, we can't get to the matchup yet. We gotta go over the results. Results from last week was, who was it? It was Quote from Cave Story taking on Mike Hager, the Mayor of the Earth, Capcom rep. But both of those, I think it's their first official appearance in any of my tournaments, so kind of interested to see how you guys reacted to them. It was somewhat close. It was a pretty close matchup, so not too many stories. It's just kind of people that are like, yep, I'm just voting for this character. Plain and simple. That's all it is. So Mike Hager ended up winning 34 votes to just 27 votes for Quote. So total number of votes maybe on the lower side for some of the matchups, but it is what it is. That's what the votes are. So Mike Hager ends up winning, advancing into the winner's bracket. Quote still in the tournament, just drops to the loser bracket. So one more loss for Quote. Done. That's how that works. So yeah, congrats to Mike. Anyway, let's move on to the matchup. Yeah, I didn't really have a story about the results. Well, I guess there's not always the little story. But yeah. So we go from one Capcom rep who won in Mike Hager to another Capcom rep in Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. That's kind of a segue, right? Going from Capcom to Capcom rep? Yeah, it's kind of a segue. I'll take it. But Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins, pretty fun game, actually. But he's taking on Ninten from the Earthbound Mother series, whichever you prefer. So that should be a fun matchup. Let's jump into it. So I believe Arthur, this is his first appearance in any of these tournaments. So interesting character, to say the least. If you don't know what Ghosts and Goblins are, it's a very old school game. Yes, it's been on Nintendo platforms. It was on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, and I believe is also on the Game Boy Color, if I'm not mistaken. It's been on 2 Nintendo platforms, so this character has been with Nintendo in the past. So check that box off if that matters to you. But the kind of game that he had. It was like a side-scrolling, like platformer game. So kind of fun. The player would control this Sir Arthur, this knight, and you'd have to go defeat like zombies and ghouls and stuff like that. And you'd have to try to rescue a princess. And the fun thing that I really enjoyed about the game, they had a kind of a really fun twist at the end. So when you'd play through the game the first time, you'd play all the way through, you get to the final boss, you beat the final boss. Then you'd have to restart the game over. And if you wanted to get to the true final boss, the true ending, if you will, the true whatever you want to call it, you had to go through the entire second playthrough again. And then you'll end up getting to the final boss again and you'll get the true ending. So that's kind of a cool little twist on a game that, back then, back on the Nintendo Entertainment NES days, that was kind of a cool little thing to do. So it kept people wanting to play the game again. It brought them back for another playthrough. And, and I believe Arthur, I don't know how you'd incorporate this into his... I don't really think you could incorporate this into his moveset for Smash, but in the G&G games, I think you could only get hit twice before you lose a life or something like that. So you had to be very careful in those sort of games. But Arthur, he's a knight. He's actually on the shorter side, so he'd be a smaller character. He is in the Marvel vs. Capcom series game. Some people will probably recognize him from that. He's kind of a funny little dude. I guess, yeah, some people think he's kind of funny, but... he's a knight. He's got a shield. He's got lances. I think he's got like a throwing axe. He's got all sorts of, a knight. We know what a knight looks like. I mean, he's right on screen in the bottom left there. But you kind of get an idea of how he would play. He's not really a speedy character per se. So I think he's just kind of a smaller character, about maybe average, maybe above average running speed. So. That kind of gives you maybe a little bit of an idea how the character would be. But you could have some fun, interesting sort of dynamic to the character. Just we don't really have a character that's, at least in an armor knight, or like a knight's armor set. We don't really have that, do we? I don't think so. I mean, we got pieces of armor here and there on characters, but like, I don't know, fully fledged out knight armor, knight armor, whatever. We don't really have that, so it's, something kind of cool. Sure, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't think we really do we? No, I don't think so. But aesthetically, it looks a little bit different. So I mean, there's always that. You look a little bit different. Just be a little melee. I guess not. Yeah. Be a melee, up close combatant. Sure, he does have the throwing axe, so he's got a little bit of a, maybe that could be the neutral special, chuck a little throwing axe. It could be, just a nice little projectile to kind of have. He could do, charging across the field with his lance, something like that. Would be kind of fun. He's got the shield, maybe, I don't know if you want to use it as like a counter or just something that could reflect some stuff. Typical shield things that we have in Smash Bros. Like with Link, you fire a projectile. If Link is just standing still, the projectile just kind of gets absorbed. It takes no damage, so it's, shield stuff in Smash Bros. That's how that works. So, kind of a fun little character. Does have a little bit of history on Nintendo consoles. People do know him. Probably more so in the Marvel vs. Capcom game than the actual Ghosts and Goblins game. But, I mean, it's a character that would be kind of a off-the-wall kind of nobody would expect it sort of pick. It would be a Capcom rep, so yeah, there's Capcom. Capcom is kind of a company people do kind of think should get get a rep for Smash DLC. I know Resident Evil comes to mind for a lot of people, but I don't know, maybe it's a sneaky pick. I'm not holding my breath on this one by any means, but you never know. You never know what Nintendo decided to pick. So, speaking of Nintendo, get it? Ninten is short. It was a joke, sorry. But Ninten, Earthbound Mother series. If you don't know who the character is, basically this is the third protagonist, the main characters of the Earthbound series. So we have Ness already, we have Lucas, and then Ninten would kind of round out that trio, and we get all three of the playable characters. So that's kind of a cool effect. You get all three of the main good guys, kind of, you could team them up in Smash Bros. Finally, which would be nice. Although I think I might prefer Porky over anybody else. Maybe Masked Man would kind of be awesome as well. I prefer a villain, I think, if Earthbound gets a rep, I'd probably prefer a villain. But Ninten is pretty similar to Ness, pretty similar to Lucas, playstyle-wise, PK moves, the psychic ability, that sort of thing. So if you're a fan of Ness and you're a fan of Lucas, odds are you're going to like Ninten, right? Now, the big thing for Ninten, I think, is when we go into a new Smash game. Not DLC, but when we go into a new Smash game, there's always the possibility that we get new Echo Fighters, and Ninten would be almost a perfect candidate to be an Echo Fighter of Ness, right? They look very similar, so maybe some people could get, I guess, be a little confused by it. Like, all right, why is Ness's name Ness and also Ninten? Yeah, I guess maybe Nintendo just wants to kind of stay away from that. They look pretty similar, so they don't want to confuse new people coming into the game, potentially. Even though if he's an Echo Fighter, I guess you can kind of give that a pass. But it's still a fun character. Still a character that does, his name does pop up in Smash games, but again, more of the, all right, it would be an easy character to put in as a clone / now Echo Fighter. So while that, yes, would work for base roster, DLC wise, I don't see this one happening. Yeah, I think I guess I would see Arthur having a better chance for Smash DLC than Ninten, and that's kind of saying something. But look, Ninten is still a cool character. I would like to see this character someday in Smash Bros. I'm a fan of the Ness style, the Lucas style. Lucas is one of my more played characters, and I've been picking up Ness recently. I've been really trying to hammer home like an amiibo that I really want to. I've been working on a lot on a Ness amiibo recently. I'll just put it like that. And to see another character with that sort of style, I'm okay with. Whether it's an Echo Fighter, whether they tweak him and make him his own unique fighter, or maybe a semi-Echo, whatever it is, I'm okay with either way that he could end up being portrayed. But for me, this one, I think I'm fine with Ness and Lucas. So Ninten doesn't really bring anything interesting for me from the DLC side of things. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, Arthur G&G, he gets my vote. Don't expect him by any means. I mean, if Capcom gets a rep, they have way more series that are far more likely, but obviously Arthur's the one that's in the matchup. So he gets my vote for today. Let me know who you guys are voting for down in the comments. Arthur or Ninten, one or the other, or both. But remember, one vote per person. I guess that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed as always. But sneak peek for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, will be a very fun matchup. Very fun matchup. We got two characters here in Tails from the Sonic series, so that should be good. We'll see. Tails always does pretty well in these tournaments, so we'll see how the turnout happens again. But Tails will be taking on Monokuma from the Danganronpa series. I think I pronounced that correctly again. But that should be a very interesting match tomorrow. I can't wait for that one. That should be good. We actually got quite a few good matches coming up the rest of the week. Hollow Knight and Crash, Cosmos, and Wally. Yay. But that's the matchup for tomorrow. And then we'll get the results. Tomorrow will be from Hayachi from Tekken taking on Akira from Astral Chain, one of Nintendo's newest games. So we'll see who won that. Winner gets to face Sceptile. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, hopefully we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.